Wednesday, November the 11th. Lake level's right about 9:15 and a half. It's up a couple inches from last week. They're not generating very much water at all, and the lake has kind of been coming up steadily for the last week or so. We got a little bit of rain, and they're dumping Beaver Lake a little bit too. But the water temperature's still about the same in the mid-60s. I haven't fished Tabor. I fished it Monday and Tuesday. All weekend I was up at Lake of the Ozarks fishing. But, I found the fishing to be pretty tough for the most part. Monday when we fished up in the James, I fished from Ann's Creek up towards Cape Fair. And the bait fish are absolutely everywhere up in the James. They're out on the main lake. They're in the creeks. They're anywhere from the surface down to about 35, 40 feet. Now, there is a little bit of schooling activity. We caught some on topwater, on pop-bars. Seems like right now you want to have some kind of topwater bait or swim bait. Even a flutter spoon tied on, something you can cast a long ways, because the fish are busting throughout the day. And I think if you get an overcast day, I think that, really start schooling up pretty good on a topwater. And they seem to be out over the deeper structure. Now, we went way up into James. We couldn't get much of a crankbait bite, but we were able to get a jig bite up in the backs of the creeks. And I was going as far back as you can in the creeks. And I think you can catch them. Well, we caught them on a Pig Sticker Snowden 3/8 ounce jig with a Strike King Rage Craw as a trailer. But I think you could catch them on like a Chompers, either a Chompers jig, jewel jig. Just as long as it's a small jig, anything with brown or green pumpkin or watermelon. And we were fishing it underneath the shad. Normally I'd take a little square bill or a spinnerbait and fish it underneath the shad, but we couldn't get any bites that way. It seemed like the fish were really relating to the bottom and 4 to 8 to 10 feet of water. Any kind of lay down or brush pile we could find would catch some fish. Now, we caught several fish doing that, but not very many keepers. Most of the keepers we caught came out on the long, flat gravel points on a jig and spoon, a flutter spoon, and a drop shot. Now on the flutter spoon, we're throwing a 5/8 ounce Dixie Jet. On the jig and spoon, I don't really think it matters, as long as it's white or chrome. And this is a 7/8 ounce War Eagle. It's got white with a little bit of chartreuse in it, and I've thrown a straight white. I think the white works a little better up the James because there's quite a bit of stain in the water still. And this is the 5/8 ounce Dixie Jet. Now the Dixie Jet I was throwing more around suspended fish that were up a little higher in the water column. Whatever depth I'd see the fish at, I'd count the bait down to that depth and try and keep it in that zone. Most of the spoon fish and drop shot fish came anywhere from 35, 45 feet deep. Most of it was main lake points, real flat, long gravel points where it had a drop off on one side or the other. And on the drop shot, last week I was talking about, I've been playing around with this braid a little bit, and I'll show you how I got this rigged up. A lot of it's real bright braid, so I kind of had my doubts that, I thought maybe it's too high vis that the fish could see it. But it's really pretty slick because, especially in the cold weather, when you're fishing with regular fluorocarbon or mono, you get a lot of twist and memory in the line on your reel. With the braid, you don't get absolutely any. And you can really feel the bite a lot better. It's a 10-pound braid. It's a new loose braid. And right here I'm tying a surgeon's knot. And I've got 8-pound mono on. The knot is really small. You don't even feel it going through the guides. What I'm doing, I'm using about a 6 or 8 foot leader. Tying my drop shot hook on with a Palomar knot, and then my drop shot weight. But like I say, the good thing about this, you don't ever have to hardly retie. Don't get no line twist. And I use both the braid and the regular mono that I normally use, and I couldn't notice any difference that we're getting any more bites on one than the other. And the bite was so light, you could actually feel it a lot better on the braid. And then yesterday, we fished down there at the dam area, and we were throwing a lot of football jigs. And I basically had the same rig for my customers, 10-pound mainline braid, tied a surgeon's knot with about an 8-foot leader and then a football jig. And as far as that surgeon's knot, instead of having me show you how to tie that, it's easier to just go online and Google it. It's a real simple knot to tie. Seems to be real strong. I got the drop shot hung up several times in some trees that we were fishing, and it didn't break where the mono was connected to the braid. Sometimes it broke at the hook, sometimes it broke up in between it, so I felt that the knot was, doing its job. But, back to the fishing, down lake in Kimberling, or from Kimberling to the dam yesterday, I could not find any of the big groups of shad, like there is up in the James. Just seems to be a lot more active bait fish up in the Campbell Point, Shell Knob area, and up in the James than there is down lake, like from Kimberling to the 86th Bridge. It took us a while to figure the bite out yesterday. We caught a couple on a football jig out of some brush piles about 25 feet. We actually ended up catching more keepers down there by the dam yesterday and some better quality largemouths, but we didn't get near as many bites as we did up in the James. When we were drop shotting up in the James, when you get on a school of them Kentuckys, you could catch 15, 20 fish, inside of 20, 30 minutes, and then it would stop. Then you'd move around a little bit, and once you got the school of fish fired back up, you'd catch, 4, 5, 6 short fish to one keeper, but lots of action. But anyways, the bite down lake, the only place we'd get any quality was throwing a flutter spoon and a jigging spoon around the deep boat docks in the stalls. Now, not all the fish were in the stalls. We were able to catch several we were keying on where the sun and the shade come up against the dock with the flutter spoon. Some of those fish weren't that deep. They were, might have been 55, 60 foot of water, but the fish were only 8 to 10 foot deep. What we was doing was just counting that flutter spoon down to about 7 to 10, and then start reeling it, and about every 4 or 5 cranks, just give your rod tip a little pop. Most of the time with the flutter spoon, when they hit it, they try to jerk the rod out of your hand, so you don't have any problem detecting the bite. And on the slab spoons, like I say, somewhere in the stalls or just along the shaded edge of the dock, right there where the sun and the shade make a line, seemed to be the key area. And that was late in the afternoon. I tried it some in the morning, but it seemed to work a lot better in the afternoon. As far as the topwater bite, you want to keep some kind of topwater bait tied on. Especially up in the James yesterday, or Monday, there was several fish schooling. We didn't see that much schooling activity down lake. Both days we had, bright bluebird skies. But if you get a cloudy day with the amount of bait that's up, especially up in the James and up in the White, could be a good topwater bite. And as that water starts cooling down, I know I keep saying this, but we kind of want that water to get down below 60, 55 to 60. That wigglewort bite, small crankbait bite should get a lot better. And the topwater bite too. I mean, my whopper plopper bite is slowed way down, getting very few bites on it. But that water cools down, some of them bigger largemouth and smallmouth start moving up shallow. That may come back on as well. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.